A door opens, revealing that the subspace arena is being prepared. There were 15 minutes left, and Kang hadn't expected it to be so easy to set up. Medea said she'd help if that's what he wanted, but he'd have to take care of himself. Since it wasn't reality, he wouldn't suffer any physical damage, though the mental strain could still take a toll. But he was confident none of that mattered as long as he won. He can already hear a commotion outside and never imagined there'd be so much interest in this fight. It's ironic to him considering that, not long ago, his dream was to avoid drawing any attention. Chloe's crying beside him, calling his name. Our boy knows she's blaming herself, so he tells her not to think this has anything to do with her. He even thanks her for lending him this amazing equipment. They share a brief silence before she admits that Nox is really strong. Our guy says he's sure she's just as strong as him. She explains that it's not quite the same, because Nox is an unparalleled genius in the family's entire history. He was already reaching the pinnacle of dark arts. Kang finds all these grandiose titles cringeworthy, but since the game was always like this, there's no point dwelling on it now that he's involved. There's no running away. He recalls his teacher once saying that he was destined to wield a blade for the rest of his life. What he hadn't expected was that he'd already be doing the same thing in this reincarnation. The announcement for the duel starts. He stands up and tells Chloe he's heading out. She seems hesitant, so he calls her name. He reassures her, saying not to worry because the world is full of geniuses, and that's why I'll win. The door slowly opens and he covers his face. What's this? A subspace arena, but there's a massive crowd watching. This isn't a simple one-on-one duel. Our boy feels like a gladiator in a Roman Colosseum. He notices something in the distance and wonders why even the elites are present. Seriously, here comes our beloved Abel, eager to watch the protagonist put on a show. Our guy wonders if these people have nothing better to do than watch him fight. Suddenly, Nox appears, already losing his temper. The boy's about to explode. At this rate, he's going to die young. Nox demands to know if Kang can't distinguish between courage and arrogance. He asks why Kang is here with such a pitiful excuse for a blade. The dark aura begins to move toward Kang, who quickly realizes it's the guy's killing intent. Kang responds, "A good fighter never blames the equipment." Nox is about to lose it, but decides to end things quickly. A crow materializes behind him, and he announces he'll start by cutting out Kang's insolent tongue. Kang notices the guy's equipment is ridiculously overpowered. Of course, the bastard is relying on the blade. Wait, what? The guy's using a Hong Ryan blade, an S-rank weapon. That's so broken. Kang is obviously impressed, but not surprised. It might be absurd that Nox came in with such gear, but Kang also came prepared. He's wielding a sashimi knife he borrowed from Chloe's kitchen. The drone approaches and announces the start of the combat. A blue light shines, and the drone wishes the blessings of the heroes upon them. The two face each other. Kang immediately activates blessings to suppress pain and calls on the blessing of the sword god. The boy's eyes turn white, as if possessed by demons. The crowd begins murmuring, "Was that real?" They're confused, saying, "This was supposed to be an easy fight, but the fight kicks off with a flurry of attacks." Rachel in the audience remarked that they're quicker than expected. Meanwhile, Abel can't believe the weakling from before actually knows how to fight. Kang deflects another strike, and Nox goes for another hit. One of Nox's attacks lands on the ground, sending purple slashes toward Kang. However, the attack seems to miss entirely. Nox challenges Kang to dodge this next move as he leaps into the air and activates the three-headed crow technique. The protagonist stands still for a moment, suddenly enveloped in a purple aura. Nox is confident that Kang is dead now. However, Kang transforms into a blue blur. The next second, he's on the other side of the arena, completely unharmed. The audience starts commenting that despite Nox's strong attacks, the boy is holding his own. Abel is puzzled, wondering how Kang, who just joined the academy, is standing up to someone like Nox. What's worse, it seems like Kang is dodging everything effortlessly, as if he's not even trying to fight. Nox recalls Chloe warning him that Kang wasn't an ordinary guy. Even with the crow technique, nothing happened. At least Kang was only dodging, so maybe he was just someone who specialized entirely in agility. For now, Nox decides to be cautious and wait for the perfect moment. The problem is that his rage keeps building every time he sees Kang fighting with kitchen knives. Suddenly, one of Kang's knives drops to the ground, and Nox demands to know what the hell Kang is planning. Kang stretches his arm forward, holding the remaining knife, which even has a little floral decoration on it. He points it at Nox, who's completely baffled. Nox stares, confused about why Kang is frozen in that stance still. If Kang is planning to gamble everything on a single strike, Nox resolves to use all his power in the next attack. Nox begins to boast about the Hong Ryun blade, but in the blink of an eye, Kang vanishes, startling him. In the midst of the attack, the protagonist reflects that all he ever wanted was to live a comfortable life. He never wanted to stand out, preferring to blend into the masses as much as possible. But he's realized that since there's no escaping this, he might as well cut through everything perfectly. Wait, there goes an arm flying. Looks like someone got disconnected. The fool Nox didn't even see it coming, and Kang is already behind him. The audience is stunned, their jaws dropping in disbelief. Meanwhile, Kang vows to use everything at his disposal, whether a blessing or a curse. It's time to say goodbye to the idea of a peaceful future. I thought our boy would go easy, but here comes another slash, and Nox looks terrified. Oh no, now the head's gone too. The arena erupts in a massive explosion, leaving everyone stunned with Nox lying motionless on the ground. Meanwhile, Kang calmly sheaths his convenience store knife. Abel is shocked while her friend has heart-shaped pupils. Looking at whom, you guessed it, him. With that, the duel ends and the crowd erupts in cheers. Kang had anticipated this reaction. There's no turning back now. He did all of this with a knife meant for slicing fish, though he already knew slashing a blade through human flesh was anything but pleasant. At least Nox was intact beside him, a testament to how impressive the subspace truly was. Even so, his mind was in shambles. Kang acknowledges that Nox was indeed as strong as Chloe said, with a good sense of battle. However, his killing intent made his moves too predictable. The drone flying overhead announces winner Kang Geom-ma in 26 seconds. Everyone is astonished that a first-year student defeated his second year. Kang receives a flood of attention, but he knows there's no escaping it now. Since this is the path he's been forced onto, he resolves to give it his all. Throughout the academy, the only topic is the boy who took down an auditore. Everyone is stunned at how someone could be strong enough to beat a guy like that. Meanwhile, Abel can't stop thinking. Wherever she goes, she hears his name. Inevitable, given what happened yesterday. When Nox's arm fell to the ground, she couldn't believe it. At that moment, she was paralyzed, trying to comprehend how he wielded such precise swordsmanship with kitchen knives. She had always taken pride in her knowledge, being the granddaughter of the swordmaster. But she realized how naive she had been. A memory flashes in her mind, the time she smugly said she was curious about the person who managed to beat her. She'd been eager to crush him the next time. She also remembers teasingly making a cute face, saying she was sharing everything because he seemed weak. Now she starts connecting the dots and wonders if he's this year's top student. The girl is practically ready to explode, her face wreathing as she mutters that it must be this damn guy who's stronger than her now. She wants to know what was going through his head at that moment. Rachel wakes up startled and asks Abel on what's going on. Abel apologizes, saying it's nothing. Rachel presses, asking if she's sure, but Abel insists she's just feeling a bit tired. Still, Rachel notices something and teases her, asking what she's hiding. Is she hungry? Abel says no. Did she forget her gear at home? Abel denies it again. Maybe you need the bathroom. Abel snaps, telling her to shut up. Then Rachel asks, it's about a boy. Abel immediately turns as red as a tomato, and Rachel catches on. She starts laughing, saying she never imagined the legendary Abel would get involved in romance. Flustered, Abel stammers that Rachel is misunderstanding. It's nothing romantic. Rachel is already curious about who the lucky guy is, who managed to steal the heart of the legendary Abel. Rachel starts listing options, asking if it's Leon since he's handsome, but Abel's expression makes it clear it's not him. Rachel finds it odd that Abel closed up at the mention of Leon and starts thinking about who else it could be. Then she asks, could it be that special student from yesterday? The moment she says Kang's name, Abel freezes. Rachel, ever the psycho, is delighted, claiming she's a genius at this. She grabs Abel's hand and declares, it's time to go. 1 second later, she bursts through the door, announcing her entrance. The guys inside are all stunned, drooling at the girl's beauty. They walk into the room, but Rachel wastes no time. She climbs onto a table and yells, where's that black-haired guy? She scans the room until someone points out that regardless of her status, she shouldn't be standing on tables. But the crazy girl dismisses him, saying, she's pretty enough to do it, and the fool agrees. Abel stands awkwardly to the side, thoroughly embarrassed. Suddenly, Rachel's face lights up with a twisted grin. I found him, she exclaims. The problem? She noticed Chloe looking at Kang with hearts in her eyes. Rachel gets even more excited, claiming this makes things even better. What? She starts unbuttoning her shirt and loosening her tie, muttering about how much fun this will be. Girl, you're supposed to be helping your friend, not competing with her. Poor Chloe was sitting quietly until she suddenly felt a chill in her stomach. Rachel walks over and starts sniffing our boy. The other two girls are utterly confused by this. Rachel just says, "Oops," and throws herself onto the table. Meanwhile, Kang starts waking up. Rachel smirks and asks if he's awake. He doesn't respond. As she asks, "Are you Kang Gaeom-ma?" Our boy Kang is completely confused, trying to figure out why Rachel is even here. She's pointing her finger at him, saying, "You're even better looking up close." But for some reason, his gut is screaming that this is dangerous. Suddenly, Chloe grabs Rachel's arm and demands to know who she is. Chloe does not look happy now. Rachel's confused about this girl staring her down. Kang finally understands why his instincts were screaming at him. Chloe's demeanor shifts dramatically as she pulls out a dagger. A fight is about to break out in the middle of the classroom. Something Kang has never seen happen in the game. Abel steps in and asks Rachel what she thinks she's doing. Rachel casually replies that she was just stopping by to say hi. Rachel sighs, walks over, and gently places her hand on Chloe's head, saying, "Don't interrupt when the adults are talking and drop that sharp object while you're at it." But Chloe isn't backing down. She lunges at Rachel, yelling, "Die already." Rachel glances sideways, and there's a sudden splash of red. Wait, no, it's strawberry juice or something. Turns out Rachel effortlessly blocked Chloe's attack. She even taunts her, saying she's weak, short, slow, and out of control. Wow, girl, way to escalate. Rachel grips Chloe's arm tightly until Abel shouts for her to stop. She does stop by flinging Chloe across the room. Poor Chloe goes flying, but somehow lands gracefully on her feet like an angel. Meanwhile, the guys in the room are loving this drama. Here's the truth. Rachel is from the Spear Saints clan, where brute strength is the ultimate mantra. She turns to Kang and asks, "Is that girl your girlfriend?" Kang replies, "No." He notices Chloe doesn't look happy to hear that. But what can he do? It's the truth. "We're just friends," he adds, all while trying to piece together what kind of chaotic situation he's been dragged into. Only now does Kang realize Abel is also here. He awkwardly asks why the two of them came looking for him. Rachel smirks and says, "Abel's interested in you, and I wanted to see for myself." Abel immediately flushes, stammering, "When did I say that?" She starts rambling, trying to explain herself, but ultimately just leaves everyone more confused. Embarrassed, she turns away, muttering that this is all a misunderstanding and that she never asked to come here. Sigma Kang, unfazed, says, "If that's the case, you can leave now." Rachel's heart eyes dim slightly at his bluntness. It seems she's into guys who reject her because she immediately replies, "You're interesting just the way I like them." Kang retorts, "Good to know you like interesting guys, but I'm not one of them." But Rachel isn't deterred. "Don't be like that," she says. "How about coming to my dorm after class today? We can watch Netflix and chill." She spells it out slowly to make her intentions crystal clear. Chloe snaps, yelling, "Take your hands off Kang." Rachel bursts out laughing, saying, "It's hilarious how Chloe thinks he belongs to her. But Abel's had enough." She calls out to Rachel, trying to regain some control. Rachel stands up, brushing herself off. "Well, it was nice meeting you, Kong," she says, full of hearts in her eyes. "I'll see you later." She waves goodbye, leaving Kang wishing everyone would just disappear. The moment they turn around, he goes back to sleep. But Abel pauses for a second, glances back at him, and oh no, girl's got that look. She's totally crushing. She turns away quickly and follows Rachel out. Meanwhile, in the corridor, Rachel is deep in thought, reflecting on Kang's cold gaze. She realizes there's a difference between someone being cold and the sheer intensity in his eyes. When he looked at her, she felt like her throat was about to be slit. That encounter had far exceeded her expectations. Even during her chills, she'd gone there just to toy with him, never imagining she'd find someone like this. For her clan, finding exceptional warriors for breeding purposes is a priority. She starts considering Kang as a valuable resource. That Netflix invite might have led somewhere. She teases Abel, saying, "It's no wonder Kang caught the attention of the invincible princess." Then she abruptly apologizes. Abel brushes it off, saying Rachel should apologize to the students whose class she disrupted. But Rachel clarifies, "I'm not apologizing for that. I'm apologizing for Kang Guillaume. Unfortunately, I'm the one who's going to enjoy him." Elsewhere in the hospital, Knox has just woken up muttering, I'll kill that bastard. Until that fight, he was known as the genius of the Auditore. His body had never tasted defeat. He contemplates sneaking into Kang's dorm at night to kill him, but recalls the sheer presence Kang exuded during their duel. Shoving a patient aside, Nox storms out, vowing to mobilize every Auditore to cut Kang's head off. In the end, he also plans to reclaim Chloe, whose potential might even surpass his own. It was the perfect moment for Nox to strike. After all, his nocturnal techniques were most effective at this hour. He was certain he'd show Kang Ma who was boss, but as he opened the door, he was startled. There he was, Kang, casually eating an apple. Nox thought there'd be something peculiar waiting for him, but no. Kang just looked at him and asked, "What's the senior doing here?" Nox froze, unsure of how to respond. We are shown a flashback where Chloe is nervously biting her nails. Our boy notices her frustration, even though she was the one who had drawn her blade. Chloe is clearly irritated and starts muttering about whether Kang likes women with huge airbags. If that's the case, she'll have to kill that woman. Kang interrupts her train of thought, calling her name. Chloe asks if he needs something while Kang silently hopes she'll put the blade down. He then asks, "How's Nox doing?" She hesitates for a second before responding, "He's in the medical wing." Kang finds this odd. "That's strange. I don't remember injuring him." Chloe shrugs, saying she hasn't visited him, but she heard he was admitted there despite not having any visible injuries. She tells him to don't worry, and that she's sure he's fine. Kang knows Nox isn't the type to be mentally broken by such a trivial defeat. He can't help but hope the guy isn't planning anything. With that thought, he decides to ask Chloe, "Where's Nox's room?" Now, we're back in the present, where Nox is trembling as Kang calmly eats an apple in his room. Kang asks him, "Can I eat this apple?" Nox looks at him with a raised brow and points out, "You're asking while you're already eating it." Unbothered, Kang glances around and comments, "The Auditore family must be loaded to give you a room like this all to yourself." Nox, still confused, asks, "How did you even get in here?" Kang doesn't answer. Instead, he reaches for his knife, making Nox tense up. Is Kang here to finish the job? But no. Kang picks up the knife and resumes slicing his apple with expert precision. Nox can't help but marvel at Kang's skill, wondering why he's so good at something as mundane as cutting fruit. Kang sets the neatly sliced apple on Nox's desk and says, "When your digestion is not great, fruit can help." Nox realizes he's being humiliated. His face twists in anger as he grabs for his blade, ready to end this insult. But Kang freezes him with his next words. "If you ever even think about revenge, I'll personally go after the entire Auditore family." Nox is stunned. Kang walks to the door, shuts it behind him, and leaves without another word. Outside the room, Kang lets out a sigh, a smirk creeping onto his face. "Just a candle I can snuff out any moment," he mutters, referring to Nox. He knows he probably crushed whatever willpower Nox had left. Of course it was all a bluff. There's no way he could wipe out the entire Auditore family in 30 seconds. Maybe he could take out a few in that time, but he really wants to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. As he walks away, Kang reflects that he feels like he's in the eye of a storm. This wasn't the plan, but he's getting used to it. It seems this world is driving him a little insane, too. At least now, if Nox backs off, he won't have to deal with him anymore. But Kang's real problem lies with someone else entirely. The crazy girl who was supposed to be the first to approach the protagonist in the original story. He needs to think carefully about what to do next. With the upcoming competition looming, Kang knows he has to take it seriously. The reward, the legendary Murasame sword, is something he desperately needs. His current issue. It's going to take him longer than 30 seconds to win this. The test involves defeating demonic monsters in teams of 5. The focus is less on individual prowess and more on teamwork, but if he can find good allies, he should be able to handle it. Fortunately, Kang already knows the monsters will be D-rank merman. Unfortunately, he remembers how awful they were in the game. Imagine facing them in real life. At least they aren't sirens, but pleasing to the eyes. Those creatures are far worse. It recalls that sirens are considered demonic humans, while the merman are just demonic monsters. By comparison, merman aren't as terrifying. Sitting on a bench, Kang reflects that it's been a month since he arrived here. The peaceful evening reminds him of the tranquility he had hoped for when entering this world. 700 years have passed since humans and demons signed the peace treaty. Even so, small skirmishes and major conflicts have occurred here and there. For example, the Vasman dispute 50 years ago, and the commander of the 6th Legion claimed to have resurrected the 1st Legion commander, breaking the treaty. Flashes of the past play in Kang's mind. Vasman landing a punch on a white-haired soldier, while Medea screamed for siege. A younger version of the legendary hero emerges, cutting through demons with his blade. Humanity triumphed, birthing 7 heroes, though not without sacrifices. The outcome led both factions to avoid further escalation. But Kang recalls a moment when someone mocked that it's ridiculous to call him humanity's strongest, when all he did was kill the 6th commander. Back on the bench, Kang wonders, is this the peace they fought for? The more he ponders, the more he remembers the 1st commander, Valor Joaquin, who sealed the 1st Legion leader. And he knows 3 years from now, the demons will launch their 2nd attack, including the 1st appearance of the Demon King. Still thinking about it now won't change anything. Kang knows he has to focus on the upcoming tests. It's going to be a bit annoying, but first he needs to find some allies. The problem, his phone contacts are empty, he has no friends. That's when it hits him. He's become quite famous at the academy, so maybe he can use that to his advantage. If things have reached this point, he's going to recruit the right people to ensure the highest score on this test. He still dreams of a comfortable life, even if achieving it quietly is impossible. A week passes and Kang is trembling with anxiety. Not a single person has invited him to join their group. He thinks back to how he sliced through Nox and wonders why no one's reaching out. Turns out everyone is terrified of him. Looking around, he notices something odd. Chloe, like him, is also considered an outsider and hasn't been invited to any group. Approaching her, he asks if she hasn't found a team. She admits she hasn't. Kang finds it strange considering she used to have a few friends. Seeing this as an opportunity, he suggests she join him. We just need 3 more people, he says. Chloe agrees without hesitation. She's an excellent fighter, so Kang is confident she'll be a great addition, considering he can only fight for 30 seconds at a time. Chloe worth 1,000 of him. Chloe beams with happiness, but their moment is interrupted by someone shouting Kang's name. It's Rachel declaring she's back to play with him. Kang sigh, already dreading her return. When he asks why she's here, she responds, I just told you, didn't I? Chloe is fidgeting, muttering something about the big balloons coming. Kang turns to her and flatly tells her to get to the point. He's not in the mood for games. Rachel, on the verge of tears, asks why he's so cold. Kang groans, asking her to stop calling him my Guillaume. Rachel pretends not to hear, claiming she's a little deaf today. Then, as if by accident, she collapses onto a desk, her airbags landing first, and says she's a little clumsy. Ignoring her antics, Rachel turns to Kang and asks if he has a group for the test. Without thinking, Kang says no. Rachel's eyes light up as she invites him to join her team.